Howdy folks, I'm a differous ogre, odiously ordering overripe onions.
I'm Amber.
And the question is, Amber, are we ordering them like from biggest to smallest, or are we ordering them like purchasing them?
Yeah, I figured like it was on off of a menu or something,
Yeah.
a monster menu. But you could be just rearranging them.
Yeah, we're ordering the blooming onion, which is really good. So let's get started on that. All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Being Able to Babysit My Sister's Kids? People involved are myself, a 32-year-old male, my sister Sally, a 29-year-old female, and her husband Joe, a 31-year-old male. 6 weeks ago, Sally asked me if I would be able to babysit their kids 8 and 6 overnight tonight, and for her and Joe to see a show a couple of hours away and get a hotel room. It's their anniversary this weekend, and Joe is military and leaving on a 6-week-long TDY Friday morning. And I told her that I could. I really don't mind babysitting on the rare occasion that she asks me. And my nephews are pretty cool kids. Well, yesterday a girl that I've been talking to for a little while invited me to see a game tonight as well. And I accepted the invitation. 1, I love hockey, and 2, I really like this girl, and I think that she could have a lot of potential. I called Sally after work yesterday, and I told her that I can no longer babysit because I have plans now. And she went from 0 to 60 on how I made the commitment that she's already bought the tickets and prepaid for the hotel room, and they can't get a refund with less than 24 hours notice. I countered that it's not my fault that she wasn't prepared enough to have a backup plan, because what if I had gotten sick or into a car wreck? She started crying and called me a jerk, so I ended the call because I have a strict boundary with everyone that I deal with, and I won't deal with emotional manipulation tactics. Joe called last night and offered to buy the tickets to take my date to the game on a different day if I would ask for a rain check on tonight, so that I could still watch the kids, because the military has made it to where they spent all their anniversaries apart, and Sally had been looking forward to this night away together. I reiterated to him that it's their responsibility as parents to have a backup plan in case things fall through, and that I'm not responsible for his choice in career and not the choice to have children. He said that he was disappointed, but thankfully ended the call respectfully. I assumed that would be the end of it until I woke up just now to a text from my sister telling me that she's incredibly hurt by the way I'm behaving. Not just messing over their plans, but also letting the boys down, because I spoke to them about the sleepover on the weekend and they seemed excited to hang out with their uncle. I honestly don't understand how they can't see that it's their responsibility to have a backup plan in case I become unavailable. At this point, I don't even know how to respond, because she's so clouded by her emotions on the situation that I don't think that she can see rationally, even if I respond. But before I say anything, I'm curious to see others' opinions if I'm justified here. All right, folks, what do you think?
You're the jerk, big time OP. It's one thing if you get sick or in an accident, like there are unavoidable circumstances that sometimes people will have to cancel their plans for. It is a totally other thing to last minute ditch just to go on a date when you could easily reschedule for another time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest problem I have here, is that this wasn't an accident. This wasn't something, because I think they would have been pretty understanding. And while they would have been hurt and maybe disappointed that they wouldn't have been able to go on their anniversary, but, it wouldn't have been like the same kind of thing. I'm sure she would have visited him in the hospital and the kids would have visited them, right, if they were, that injured in an accident or that sick. But as for OP made a commitment, and it was 6 weeks ago. If they had canceled like 5 weeks ago, or even 2 weeks ago, and said, "Oh, actually, I can't make it to this day. I'm really sorry," blah blah blah, right? And then the sister, 24 hours notice, came and called them and like, "Please, you committed to this. You really need to do this, blah, blah, blah." I could understand OP being frustrated in that situation, saying, well, I told you 2 weeks ago that I wasn't going to be able to do this. It was your responsibility to cancel those tickets or find somebody else, right? But at this point in time, I think that it's OP's responsibility to actually refund the tickets that the sister had bought and the hotel costs, right?
Yeah.
Because that is on OP at this point in time. Like, this is their financial responsibility. I mean, people might disagree with me on that point, but I really think that because OP is going to cause a loss of finances, that it's his responsibility to actually recoup those costs.
It would be the kind thing to do. And, so, I mean, OP is just not a good person. OP is being very selfish and self-centered and letting everyone down. It seems like OP is only invested in whatever is going to get them the most enjoyment at the time.
Yeah.
And that is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I hope that the person OP is seeing finds out about
I absolutely hope that he shares this story with her.
Because I have a feeling that it's not going to... I think someone mentions that in the comments. And he's like, oh, well, wouldn't a girl be happy to know that I ditched people for... No, she will not want to know that you flaked out on your... commitment to your sister and your nephews.
I mean, unless she's just as bad as OP is.
Right. Then
maybe they're a match made in heaven.
Or hell.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned.
I've got high hopes for you, Wheel.
The wheel will not let you down, Amber, because the wheel says centrifuge.
Okay, good. We'll go with that.
Yes, centrifuge him all the way. So, good job, Wheel. Good job. You've redeemed yourself. And Dog's Reading Book says, she's right that you made a commitment to her. The fact is that you didn't get sick or into a car wreck. You chose to let your sister down. And it makes sense that she started crying and calling you a jerk, as you had made a commitment to her and her kids. And her crying wasn't an emotional manipulation tactic. That was her being let down by you and being sad and frustrated about it. I guess that your nephews now know that they can't count on their uncle. In regards to if people think that I'm justified here, you're really not. You're the jerk. And OP replies, I disagree that it wasn't a manipulation tactic. She's an almost 30-year-old grown woman who should be in control of her emotions. If she truly can't get her point across without crying, then that says something about her, and I'd rather deal with my brother-in-law who can do so.
Oof, that is so gross. Not everyone, has full control over their tear ducts. And she was just devastated in the moment because this was going to be the first anniversary she finally got to celebrate with her husband. And now she was losing that chance because her brother was being really selfish.
Yeah, I don't think that OP understands what manipulation is if they think that this was manipulative.
I mean, that's been something that people will say, and it really frustrates me because, I'm someone who does cry sometimes when I get upset, and I hate it. I wish I didn't, but I have literally no control over the tears once they start flowing.
Well, I mean, I think that some people can try to manipulate people with tears.
Certainly.
Sure, there are people who do manipulate through emotional manipulation. But the sister who is genuinely disappointed and frustrated in the moment and starts crying because of it, that's not manipulation. That's just disappointment, right? That's sadness. That's mourning the loss of a day that she was looking forward to. A lot of people she was clearly really invested and excited about this, and OP, destroyed it right in front of her, right?
Right. And I mean, OP's comment just reeks of sexism.
Yeah.
I'd rather deal with my rational brother-in-law than my irrational sister. Men get angry, and we're okay with that, but as soon as women start shedding tears, they're irrational and can't be dealt with.
Well, I mean, I also want to point out that I've seen grown men cry over football games, right? They get upset and, understandably frustrated when their team doesn't win the Super Bowl or something like that, right? That's not a problem. Men are allowed to be upset. Men are allowed to shed tears over a game, right? But they're not being emotionally manipulative here to the other team or anyone else here, right? About the whole losing it. It's sincere disappointment, right? And that's the same kind of thing here. Sincere disappointment isn't manipulation. It's sincere disappointment. And if OP feels bad about it, then that's probably their, guilt
that
over
little
the situation.
shred of a conscience is speaking up, and OP needs to silence it.
Yeah. And Hunt Accurate 9397 says, you're the jerk in a way that defies words, but you already knew that. And OP replies, I don't see it though. I know that in an ideal world, I would have had more notice so that they could get refunds or make other arrangements, but I told her within a few hours of me finding out, and that was out of my control. Then you'd politely decline the invitation and take a rain check,
well,
right?
it wasn't out of OP's control. OP could have suggested any other time. you
Yeah.
know. So, oh, woe is, I had no other option. No, OP, you made a conscious choice to abandon your family.
Mm-hmm. And Blue Wave Empress says, so you don't care what we think here. And OP replies, I stupidly expected to get rational responses from Reddit so I could show my sister that she's not seeing straight. And I mean, I think that really says everything that we need to know about OP here. They
Yeah.
weren't looking for.
Honest feedback. They just were
Mm-hmm.
looking for people to give them, oh, yes, you are, of course. And I love how they're saying that people are being irrational because they don't agree with OP.
Yeah.
It's like, no, OP, you're just being a garbage human being.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Offering to Have My Wife Go Grocery Shopping by Herself as a Break? My wife, a 31-year-old female, stays home with our 3 kids, a 7-year-old and 2 6-year-olds. We both decided to homeschool them, and we've been on the same page about that. So she homeschools our kids. They're in 2nd grade, and the twins are both in 1st grade. Our 2nd grader just got evaluated for special education. I work full-time, 2.5 days in the office, and 2 days working from home. She has asked me to help with homeschool before, but she's gotten upset at me every single time I do it. She gets frustrated because I don't read the instructions, so their worksheets aren't done right, and I don't really check their work, so she has to correct them. She gets irritated with me because she keeps talking about how burnt out she is and how much she needs a break. This makes me mad because I keep offering to help her out, but she says that she doesn't trust me to help anymore. I've only messed up 5 or 6 times, and I don't really see the big deal here, why she feels that everything needs to be perfect. Well, today she broke down crying, telling me that she needs a break. I do a lot around the house. I go grocery shopping, I cook, and I do minimal cleaning. I wash the kids' laundry sometimes, but they put it away. We've been together for 11 years, and she never liked to go grocery shopping. But today, I thought that I would offer to wash the kids so that she could go grocery shopping by herself. Somehow, this made her break down, and she says that she wants a divorce. She feels like I don't see her or hear her. But I'm obviously offering to help her with homeschool and offering to have her go grocery shopping by herself, and she doesn't want to do either of those things. I've asked her what else I can do, and she said that she liked getting a facial every month, but I haven't found the time to schedule that. She also said that she just wants to be in the house alone so that she can clean in peace and read a book. I do that about once every other week, and I'm at a loss here. Why can't she just be grateful for what I've offered? All right, folks, what do you think?
Centrifuge. I mean, the level of weaponizing competence here and just general utter disrespect for his wife is despicable. I mean, it sounds like anytime she asks for help, he can't be, oh, well, I misteach the children. I teach them wrong information because I can't be bothered to read instructions, and then I can't check over their work. I don't know why she doesn't want me helping her with homeschool.
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous. And he knows she doesn't like doing grocery shopping, and is like, you know what? For a break, instead of offering to take the kids and do the grocery shopping, no, you can go grocery shopping by yourself.
Yeah. And like she says that she just wants some time by herself. Why doesn't OP take the kids and go grocery shopping, right? Like, I mean, there's lots of moms and lots of parents rather who go out with the kids and grocery shop. So
Oh yeah, like my dad would take us grocery shopping sometimes, and it was always a lot of fun.
yeah, and I mean, little kids are always about that. So OP could take the twins and the 7-year-old and take them grocery shopping. They'll be on their best behavior. Let them ride in the cart,
Yes.
and those kinds of things. They even have like mini carts in a lot of places now for little kids to push around. I don't know if that's the case where OP is. I think that that OP's wife's frustration stems from the fact that OP can't be bothered to read the instructions. Like,
Well, like every step of the way, he's dismissing her, and he's like, I don't understand. I do so much for her. And it's like, you ignore her. You can't read instructions. You can't find time to schedule a facial for her or let her do anything outside of the house without the kids. You can't be bothered to take the kids so she gets time to clean the house in peace. Like, what are you doing other than providing a paycheck?
yeah. And the thing is that, I mean, it sounds like OP is doing household stuff, and I'm not trying to like drag on OP
I am.
everywhere here, but I do think that, they need to step up and actually do stuff that helps their wife. Like if she's having this much trouble with homeschooling, then maybe homeschooling isn't the option, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like not everyone is cut out for homeschooling, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right. Well, that would save her so much time. And I wonder too, again, I know Opie says we both agreed to this, but is this one of those relationships where the wife, just goes along because it sounds like she doesn't have any other option?
Yeah.
Like it sounds like OP is overruling her and calling all the shots every step of the way. So how much does she actually want to do this? And how much is this OP has decided that she will do this and she just can't say no?
Yeah, and those are hard questions to answer. We certainly don't have all the details of the relationship or anything like that. But, if OP is doing that, that certainly isn't a good thing. And I think that this, again, if OP was sincere with their desire to help their wife, they would help them in the way that the wife needs, and that is actually being a trustworthy parent who teaches the kids well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you can't mess around with kids' education.
No,
it's really important, right?
Education was one of the most important gifts you can give a child.
So if they want, it just sounds like they're, just being like, whatever, kids, you can, I'm not going to like correct your worksheets or do any of the labor-intensive things with homeschooling and just kind of expect you to, figure it on your own. And that's not going to help the kids learn. It really isn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Pete Penguin says, "Are you serious? Your idea of a break was her going grocery shopping?" And OP replies, "In hindsight, it probably wasn't the best idea, but she said that she wanted a break from being around the kids for a little bit." And OP adds, "I would also like to add that I've quote unquote stepped up before to give her a break. I got her an Airbnb for 2 nights alone, and she decided to come home early, and now she won't take an overnight anywhere. A solicitor knocked on the door, and the kids answered it without me there and walked outside with a stranger. I was in the backyard doing yard work, and I didn't hear them. Wife saw it through the Ring doorbell, called me over 30 times, and I didn't have my phone on me. She treats me like a child. I would have handled it, and the kids were safe. It's not like they were taken."
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
No wonder she doesn't feel she can take a break here.
Yeah.
I can't trust him alone with the kids because the kids are going to get kidnapped.
I mean, that literally could have happened. He's like, well, they didn't. OP, you're lucky they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, just because they were lucky and didn't get kidnapped in this particular case doesn't mean that they weren't at some kind of elevated risk here.
Mm-hmm.
And why are these kids answering the door, right? Like kids should know at that age not to answer the door and to go get daddy or mom,
Well, but there's like the thrill of it. Kids don't necessarily understand stranger danger, and that's why they need a responsible adult around.
But also, like, why was OP so detached from the kids that they didn't hear the front door, and two, weren't paying attention to the kids at all?
Well, that's the thing. These are kids or some, the
6 and 7.
Yeah.
Right?
That's an age where, like, why weren't they out playing in the backyard where OP could see them or something like that? It seems like OP is just totally negligent.
So I think that this is really kind of paints the picture on why OP's wife is having such a hard time and why she wants a divorce at this point in time.
Honestly, a divorce is probably the best case scenario because OP's husband is completely incompetent as a parent, and I am afraid for these children's safety.
Well, I mean, if he gets 50-50, then, I mean, that's just going to put...
I don't think he's going to fight for 50-50. I would hope not. And I mean, hopefully if his wife can document these incidents, then the judge will tell him nothing, no unsupervised visits.
This person has a really long reply. I'm not going to go through it all, but I will read OP's response to it. "I definitely think that she's a perfectionist. The worksheet will be subtraction, but the kids will do addition. And I don't bother to correct them. They're doing math. They're learning and practicing math. It doesn't need to be perfect." There's a huge difference between addition and subtraction.
Kids need to understand the difference. It's not like, and this is the kind of thing that is a life or death situation. Like, you can't go into work and if you're trying to figure out dosage requirements, you can't. But I multiplied instead of divided. It's still just math.
Yeah. And nobody but my shadow red says, "You're the jerk. If you can't be bothered to read the instructions for homeschooling so that she has to redo it, it doesn't qualify as help. Do you use weaponized incompetence on a regular basis? Offering her a chance to do something that she doesn't like by herself is hardly a kindness. And Sacred Vacation 33 says, I'm pretty sure that this is Carming Pharma BS unless OP is that dense and weaponized incompetence to the absolute max. And OP replies, it's not weaponized incompetence. I really do want to help. She says this to me all the time too. I've apologized a million times, but it's never good enough for her.
I mean, you have to fix your behavior. You can't just apologize ad infinitum.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why was the Headless Horseman so mad?
The Headless Horseman was mad because they had to wear a pumpkin, and if you ever worn a pumpkin for a head, they're a little soft, and they're not very durable, and so, like, you can do a lot of damage to, like, if you accidentally headbutt something, and then it's no fun. It's no fun at all.
Because he couldn't get ahead in life.
Very nice.
And it's National Spread Joy Day.
So go find some joy to spread. I hear glitter is a good substitute for joy. And I have a special guest tea, the apple cinnamon tea again. Very appley, very cinnamony. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on flaking on your responsibilities.
If you would flake out on a commitment, then just don't make it in the first place.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.